I'm excited to welcome Anne Reinke, President and CEO of TIA, to the Association 100 today. Anne, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Colleen.
Yeah, absolutely. Your membership, they handle the logistics behind getting freight and products to their destination. So they play a real key role as the connector within the supply chain. And the last few years have no doubt been very difficult on this. What resources have you created to assist them during this difficult time?
Well, here's the good news out of a pandemic. There is a little bit every now and then, which is that we actually got some understanding and appreciation of the role that we play in commerce. We were able to appear as sort of thought leaders, supply chain connectors, to your point. So that was a win, because a lot of people didn't actually know about the role of the 3PL and the brokerage writ large. So we were able to do a little bit of a better job of educating those who didn't know anything. So that's first. But second, enough about us, right? We've been actually focusing on technology and relationships. That's what our skill set is, technology and relationships. And from the technology and those relationships, we're able to harness really valuable data. So what technology do I mean? I'm talking about things like visibility, things that allow our customers to know where their goods are, or to allow our carriers to know what lanes are best to choose. So we are connecting, on the one hand, the shipper, so those who make the goods, to the carrier, on the other hand, those who transport the goods to the end user. And so because of this technology, then that provides this kind of certainty in a very unstable, uncertain world. And the relationships then provide a kind of knowledge and expertise that we can provide, and access to capacity, which is the coin of the realm right now.
Yeah, that's really important piece there. Why is it important for your association to raise public awareness about the efforts of your members, especially now as supply chain woes are continuing?
Well, I think it's important because we can actually provide efficiencies into the supply chain. And as I mentioned, we have this data that is actionable and helpful and can provide really kind of a roadmap of where we think the marketplace is going. And we collect that data from both the shipper side, from the carrier side. We can tell you exactly what volumes we're seeing, in what lanes, in what asset classes. And that to me is significant, because everyone is talking about, is there going to be a freight recession? Is there going to be, the impacts of inflation? Are they going to be deleterious to the driver? Are we going to have a problem where we can't pay enough, or we pay too little, or whatever the issue is? And because we have that data, that provides our members sort of a useful skill and useful tool to lend to kind of the buying public, the consumer, but also the shipper and the carrier.
Yeah, well, data is everything. Shifting gears a little though, you stepped into the role of executive director at TIA amid all of these issues. So what advice do you have for others who are stepping into a new role where they'll be responsible for areas that are front page news?
Well, I guess the first advice is that it is hard to meet people over Zoom. You get a kind of a sense of somebody over Zoom, but it's better to meet in person to the extent we can. Fortunately, we're on a slightly more predictable journey with COVID, so we are able now to make those connections in person. I think that they are invaluable. I think the second thing is, what I did for the first 90 days of being in the role was listening and learning, because I came from a transportation background, but it was railroads. And then I worked at USDOT. So I had a lot to learn about the motor carrier space, about what the issues are that face our 3PLs, what they are worried about, what keeps them up at night. So I called everyone I could possibly call. I called all our board members. I called many members who I was told to call. I would ask every person I talked to, all right, tell me 5 other people that I should call. And what I learned was and I'm just going to brag about our membership for just a second. We have such a pragmatic, really down to earth bunch of members who are literally just trying to find out better ways to serve their customers. And that is their sole focus every single day. And just being part of that has been such an incredible experience. And I've enjoyed every second of it.
That's great. And it sounds like a really incredible experience. Well, thank you, Anne. I appreciate your insights and you joining us today on the Association 100.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.